Hey everyone, so let's talk about a movie that I doubt anybody else is talking about. I can't imagine anybody else talking about this movie. But I saw it today mainly out of curiosity and because it had a really impressive cast. The movie is called The Identical, and who's in this movie is pretty damn impressive, as I said before. We've got Ray Liotta, Ashley Judd, Seth Green, and that's all I can think of. There might be somebody else that's actually in this movie. Oh yeah, Joey Pants from Goonies and The Sopranos. So, you know, pretty impressive cast, but I remember seeing the trailers for this film and not being impressed at all. It just looked like some another heavy-handed, you know, preachy, religious flick that for some reason looked like it was trying to be a biopic of some famous rock star at the same time. Now, what this movie is kind of about is like, what if Elvis Presley had an identical brother, but he's not really called Elvis Presley in the movie, he's called something Hemsley, and his brother is adopted by a preacher and his wife, and he lives with them, but he has a passion for music. At the same time, he has his passion for music. He goes to army. At the same time, this guy who looks exactly like him goes on to becomes Elvis Presley of some kind. Elvis Presley. And there you go. I mean, that's the gist of the story. And then there's some religious themes in here because, you know, the guy that we follow, who is the identical, who actually goes on a journey because he loves music, so he kind of, instead of being himself, he becomes his so-called brother that he doesn't even know it's his brother, and goes on tour to play the music that his brother is playing. And, you know, I don't even know why this movie actually exists. Really, watching it, I was like, this movie is completely pointless, and who is this movie actually made for? I don't have a clear idea, because there really is no religious message of the movie. There's nothing that's preachy or heavy-handed when it comes to that. I'm surprised that they really didn't go in that route. I mean, yes, they talk about Jesus and they talk about God and stuff like that, but there's no like saying accept God and Jesus into your heart and be saved. There's nothing like that. It's just part of the movie. And then on top of that, there's no really enjoyable music in this film. I mean, yes, the guy looks like Elvis Presley, and I read online that he at one time was an impersonator of Elvis Presley, probably why he got this job. But the music is not good at all. I mean, you know, it kind of sounds like Elvis Presley's music, but it doesn't have the passion and the heart and the emotions behind it. I felt completely unemotional while watching this film. And I was like, why is this movie even in the theaters? Why is it playing at the local multiplex? Is it because it's going to try and, you know, grab the spiritual and the faithful audience, the religious audience? Because it's not really even for them. There's really nothing for them. There's nothing for people who love music. You know, watching a few years ago, seeing a movie called Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. This is a movie that is, you know, why the Dewey Cox movie actually exists. It makes fun of movies like this that are just so generic and by the numbers and so unimportant. I mean, this movie is completely unimportant, and the sad thing about it is it's not a bad movie in the sense that it's made well. I mean, it is you know, it feels like it's shot well, the setups shot are well. Even though it's boring and it's dull, I felt like the pacing wasn't that bad, because it does flow, even though it feels like it's taking years to get around there. But at the same time, I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of losing my mind as I'm talking about this. I can't even think anymore, because this movie doesn't make you think. It doesn't really grab you emotionally or make you ponder what life is all about. It just feels like a very generic film that should have never been brought into the theaters. It should have gone straight to video or straight to cable. And, you know, it's not even a Hallmark Hall of Fame or a Lifetime Movie of the Week kind of movie. I don't know where this movie actually should exist, but it feels like it wasted all the time of the talented people that are a part of it, because it does have an impressive cast, and they're not bad in the movie. but I just don't know why this movie exists and why it was even made and who is it made for. You know, I feel like if they were wanting to tell this story of Elvis Presley, they should have just made an Elvis Presley movie. They pretty much should have just scrapped this whole idea and said, we've got a guy that looks like Elvis Presley, let's make a movie about Elvis Presley, even though that's been done to death, and this story is pretty generic. You know, he's identical to his twin brother, and I feel like the message of this movie is completely insane. I felt like what it was telling me is, don't be yourself, be somebody else. It's not good to be yourself, it's good to be somebody else. That's really the message I got from this film, which I think is a terrible message, and I don't know what more I can say. This is not a good movie. Again, it's not the worst movie I've seen all year, but it just should never exist. This movie should never exist, and for that, I'm going to be generous with this movie and say, since it does exist, and maybe some people will see it, it's not really that offensive to the average film goer, but if you're a passionate person about movies, it might be offensive to you because it's just so bland. It's so bland and generic. There you go. It should be called generic. It should have a generic title. It kind of does have a generic title called The Identical. There's really no passion in that whatsoever. So for that, I'm going to be a little generous because the movie does look good, and the acting by some of the leads are good, especially the people that we know like Ray Liotta and Ashley Judd and Seth Green and Joey Pants. They're nice to see in the movie, but I don't know, they were just collecting a paycheck. Well, hope that whatever money this movie makes, they do it for some good and actually make a better film that at least has a message. Whether you agree with the message or not, it would have been nice to have a message. So for that, I'm going to give The Identical a slight 2 stars out of 4. I never hope that I ever think of this movie ever again, or have to think about it, because there's nothing to think about. Alright everyone, thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook, and please go to WeLiveFilm.com and subscribe right here on YouTube to We Live Film. Also go to Long Beach Acting and Film Association right here on Facebook and Twitter. Please also go to MoviePile.com, and if you've enjoyed this video review, please click right here, subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Again, have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful life, and I hope that we get some better movies. The fall season's starting. We get some Oscar movies hopefully coming soon. Pretty weak weekend this though. Pretty damn weak weekend. That's what I'm trying to say. But we'll have to see if there's something better then. Maybe I'll see something better tomorrow. I don't know. Alright everyone. Peace be with you, my friends.